another UFC card last night, which means there was another edition of CHoop bets. Like I said in previous videos, I like putting in parlays. I don't bet a lot of money, just something to keep me kind of interested in the fights. The fights that I'm not, the non-big name fighters. I'm a fan. I'm more than a casual fan, but just, watching the whole card sometimes is a little tough. So I put a 3-fighter parlay in yesterday. It looked good early on. The first fight I took, I put it right in as the Chikagian Antonina Shevchenko fight was coming out. I figured Caitlin Chikagian, she was a slight underdog, not much, slight underdog, and she coming out fighting for the title. She didn't get stopped or anything. She didn't. She got dominated against Valentina Shevchenko, but I figured Antonina Shevchenko is ranked 12th. Valentina is definitely the better of fighter, so I figured Chikagian would bounce back, and she just absolutely dominated her. Normally she strikes a lot, but she just took her down, laid on top of her, almost submitted her in the first round. It was pretty good of Shevchenko to not get submitted. Chikagian was on top of her for like 3.5 minutes, I believe. So pretty good job of her to survive, because she had a rear naked choke in pretty good at one point, and just wasn't able to get it. Wasn't able to get the tap. So that was good. She won a decision. Pretty much dominated the fight, start to finish, won. So got started off very, very well. Mackenzie Dern was, I want to say she was the heaviest favorite on the card, fighting Hannah Cyphers. Early on, this fight started, I took Mackenzie Dern as one of my parlay fighters. Early on, I just wasn't sure, because Hannah Cyphers came out, she looked super fast, and then when they were in the clinch, she looked just stronger. She just looked like she was stronger. But so early on, like the first minute, it didn't last very long, but I thought, oh geez, this is the underdog, and she's gonna ruin my parlay. But then I forget how the sequence happened. I can't remember off the top of my head, but somehow Mackenzie Dern ended up on the ground, ended up on her back, and Cyphers was up, and she just got her leg caught. Like it was almost like Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar just caught her leg and ended up tapping her out to a knee bar. Looked pretty brutal. Not something that I would ever want to endure, because she had her knee hyperextended, like up. Wasn't great, and she had Mackenzie Dern laying out like right on top of her kneecap and like yanking her foot up. So she tapped. So I was 2 for 2 on my 3-fighter parlay. And then at that point, when I got them, when I got those two, I'm just like, I started worrying about my last pick, because I picked the main event, and I really thought Tyron Woodley was just going to come back. I just thought he had an off night against Kamaru Usman, and I guess that's, listening to the interviews and all this, and maybe I shouldn't do that, because, yeah, of course, every fighter is going to say, oh, this is the best I've ever been, I have my killer instinct back, this and that, but Tyron Woodley, before he ran into Usman, and he just didn't look like himself, when he fought before that, I think he fought, was it Till before that? He dominated Till, and maybe, and Darren Till was on a rampage, so he handled Darren Till pretty quick, and he fought Wonder Boy, and I thought he was going to have, refocus. He was going to refocus, and he was going to do back, or have a good performance, and potentially get another title shot against Usman. The complete opposite of that happened, and this is partially my fault, because I listened to Tyron Woodley, and then I did not know much about Gilbert Burns. I know his last fight, he knocked out Damian Maia. I looked at the list of fighters that he's fought, and he just hasn't fought any super high-level fighters outside of Damian Maia. And let's be honest, Damian Maia is not, he's never been a striker. He's always a great jiu-jitsu guy, but he's older. He's had a lot of fights. He knocked him out. Now, he doesn't get knocked out too much, so that was a new thing, but he's been through the ringer. So I wasn't so sold on that, the fact that he knocked Maia out. But man, he absolutely dominated Woodley. And now you look at Woodley, 38. Like, he's lost 10 rounds in a row. Like, he hasn't even been competitive. He wasn't trying to do anything. Like, in the fifth round, he was down 4 rounds to none, and he was okay holding them in the clinch. I don't understand it. I wouldn't be surprised if Tyron Woodley retires, but it was an absolute domination by Gilbert Burns. And I'll say this, I am now a Gilbert Burns fan, man. In between rounds, he's just the horn blows, and Gilbert Burns is just staring a hole through Tyron Woodley. I love that. I will definitely tune into to his fights now. I definitely could see him being the champion. I could see him beating Usman. He is coming up from lightweight. He was a former lightweight, but man, does he filled out well. Like, he looks like a big boy. Like, and he's got pop, man. He's throwing some shots. Super explosive, super quick, great jiu-jitsu. I think he's going to be a problem. I think he could beat Usman. The match I want to see him in is him and Leon Edwards would be a very, very good fight, but I want to see him and Colby Covington, because I could just imagine if he has a round and he's just beating Colby up like on the feet and the horn sounds and he just stares him down, it would be awesome. I don't think Colby would know how to handle it, and I would love to see it. So that would be great if they match that fight. If they make that fight on like a pretty decent pay-per-view card, I'll be all in to watch that. Him versus Leon Edwards would be a very good fight. I think he could beat Usman. Not sure about Edwards. I think he beats Masvidal. I think he beats Colby. The only one really at this point in the top that I would be questioning of is Leon Edwards, because Leon Edwards' wrestling defense did get better, and he's such a great striker. So that would be the one that I wouldn't be sure about, but I think he beats Usman. If he gets a title fight against Usman, I think he wins. If he gets a Colby Covington fight, I think he wins. Because what's Colby going to do, wrestle him? Great, take him to the ground. You didn't get to see much of his jiu-jitsu, but I don't think it would be great for Colby. And striking, from what I saw yesterday of Gilbert Burns, Colby's not even close. Not even close in the striking department. Not even close. So that'd be a fun fight. I'm a fan now. First time I ever watched Gilbert Burns, but I'm a big fan now, even though he broke my parlay. There's a big card next week with Felicia Spencer and Amanda Nunes is the main event. I'm sure Amanda Nunes is a super heavy favorite, but I will probably look at that card. That's a pretty good card, pay-per-view card. I will definitely be back. Probably put another parlay in. Maybe I'll litter in some other bets in there, sprinkle in some other bets, just straight up single fights, just to try to kind of hedge my losses. But I'll be back. I'll look at that card, and maybe I'll try to film this beforehand so you know going in what my bets are. But, yeah, Tyron Woodley, maybe he should retire. Broke my bet. Gilbert Burns, big fan. So we'll see you next week.